Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the FSRC Saturday morning call. Hope you are all ready to rock and roll this morning. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to have time to get on today. It's bright and early here in Hawaii. It is 5 a.m. Holy smoly. I've been up for an hour, had to have my coffee, take a shower, make myself look halfway presentable for you guys. So let's hop on. So who else out there? I can't wait to see. I'm looking for comments. I think there's a little bit of a delay. Hey, Heather. Good morning from Oregon. Wow, you're up early too. So do me a favor, in your comments, type for me what your title is. Are you a consultant? Are you a manager? Are you a director? And also what you're shooting for. So are you a consultant moving to step up? Are you a consultant working to get your luggage? What is it that you're wanting to accomplish by the end of this week? Good morning, Tiffany. I know what you're working for. I'm so proud of you. Good job, girl. You have poured it on. Good morning, Michelle. So if you're just joining us, in your comments, if you'll just type your title and what it is that you are wanting to make happen before the end of the week, that would be very helpful for me. And that way we can really make sure we personalize this today. And of course, those that are watching later. So Tiffany is a consultant and she is going to be stepping up at the end of this month. That is so exciting. She set that as a goal and she has made it happen. Yay, Tiffany. Let's see. We have Connie from Iowa. Connie, I did not know that you were from Iowa. I had no idea. All these years you've been on these calls, I did not know that. Are we ready to roll? Let's see. Oh, poor Connie. She's not feeling good. She's under the weather. Well, hopefully this is going to make you feel better and you're going to hop out of bed and get to work. How's that? All right. So Heather's from Oregon. Michelle, where are you calling from? All right, it is about 4:03. So we're going to or 5:03, I should say. I'm sorry. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm just double checking to make sure on the time. All right, well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the FSRC Saturday morning call. My name is Tina, and I'm the business leader with Legacy Party Sales, and it is my privilege to be here this morning, even though it's very, very early in the morning. And so it's my privilege to be here with you this morning to share a couple of ideas. Today's call is about now and later. So we're going to talk about what you can do now to really finish birthday month strong. But I am a really, really strong believer when there's a big month that there is life after birthday month. And so oftentimes I think what happens is that we get so wrapped up with the big month and pushing so hard, and then it ends and we're like, oh, and then we sit down and we take a break for 2 weeks. And I'm just going to tell you that is the worst thing you could possibly do, because I'm going to give you a little secret. Tupperware specifically puts this celebration in so that you've got momentum going into the summer months. So if you push really hard during the month of May and then you finish and you sit down and you take a break for 2 weeks, you've totally lost all of the momentum that was the purpose of this month anyway. Momentum is key in our business. And once you get it, you've got to keep it going. You can't just like push and then, whoo, because it's like rolling a big boulder up a hill. And we don't want you to do that. We want you to get that momentum going so that you have got some incredible things happening in your business for the summer months, because there's some big things happening. All right. So Heather, I see you're working for DIQ. That is really exciting. So we're going to share some specific tips with you today on how you can make sure that that happens for you. So let's first start about your personal sales and things that you can do to really finish this week nice and strong. So, number one, you need to have a sales goal. What is it that you were striving for? Is there a specific goal for the month that you wanted to achieve? Tupperware's got amazing luggage available for your personal sales this month. So, is that what you're driving for? Maybe you just had an income goal that you set for yourself. Maybe you're just trying to outdo last year's birthday month sales and it's just a um, kind of a self-set goal, and that's great. I think is always important to kind of better your best. So most important, you need to have a goal. What is it that you wanted to do for the month of May, and how much more do you need to have in order to make that happen? So the second thing that you've got to do is look at your calendar and figure out what your schedule's like. So how much time do you have? You mean, is there, in reality, do you have enough time in your personal life to schedule the activities that I'm about to share with you? Because if you've got a pretty open schedule, then I've got plenty of things I'm going to share with you. But if your schedule is really full with other events, Tupperware and non-Tupperware, then you're going to have to kind of look at that and figure out how you're going to make this happen. Now, if your schedule is full of Tupperware events, the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, are they income and sales generating events? Because if they're not, you need to really question whether this is the best use of your time. And here's what I mean by that. We can go to networking groups, we can go to um, actually vendor events and spend a lot of time, and we may not generate the kind of sales that we need for right now. And if you are pushing for sales right now because you really, really need that for a specific goal, then you may need to make some decisions and maybe send somebody on your team to that vendor event instead and use your time for your personal sales that you're really needing to do. All right, so what can you do? Well, the first thing I want you to do is think about anything you already have done in the first 3 weeks of this month that you need to follow up on. So have you mailed out flyers or brochures to people, or done a Facebook party, or posted in Facebook groups that you need to do some follow-up? Now, somebody posted this earlier this week, and this was like one of the best memes I've ever seen. And what it said in a kind of a nutshell was that when you post something on Facebook, it's kind of like opening your front door and just shouting. You might catch one person, but you're not going to attract your entire neighborhood. And I thought that was such a good analogy, because I think we're also guilty sometimes of just throwing something on Facebook and think we're working. And in reality, half the people don't even see it because of the algorithms of Facebook. So that personal follow up is so important. One of our directors on our team, Sean Fujisawa, always makes sure that he texts everybody that he's already communicated with. And that is so important, that follow up, because we have to remember something. Tupperware is not the most important thing in everybody's life. I'm telling you, it's not. We think it is, but it's not. It might be really important to us, but it's not the number one thing in all of our customers' lives. So what happens is you post a flyer and they see it at a time that maybe is not convenient for them. Maybe they're at work, or they're at a kid's soccer game or baseball game or graduation or something like that, and they don't react or respond to it. And then life moves on for them and they don't do anything about it. When you send a follow-up text message letting them know that it ends in X number of hours, then that gets action. I am a perfect example of that. Just this past week, I have a company that I like to buy from. They were having a sale. I saw the sale announced earlier in the week. I was busy. And then I got an email that said 4 hours left. Guess what? I stopped everything and I took advantage of that sale because it was important to me. So your customers will do the same thing. If you have been messaging about a sale, for example, the May brochure ends, or the tear off on the mid-May ends this week, you need to do that follow-up. So send them that screenshot of what that special is and remind them of what's ending, not just a little text that says, hey, did you want that item? Because they've long forgotten about it. I promise you, it's good customer service. They're not going to be mad at you. You just need to take the time to follow up. So personal follow-up on any customer specials is key. Now, the second thing is that may not be enough of what you need. So you've got to put some more fuel on the fire. So working in with a helper would be very good. Think about, who do you know that work somewhere where there's a lot of people? Hospitals, schools, um, there's a lot of companies out there, for example, the power company, the phone company, where there's hundreds of employees. So I want you to think about friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, coworkers, hostesses, customers that you have that you know work someplace where there's lots of people. Or maybe somebody that just has an extremely large family and you know that they've got, you know, 10 brothers and sisters that are all married, that have sister-in-laws and so forth. That might be another ticket for you too. So what you want to do is give them a specific challenge. The 4-piece mixing bowl set, which includes the fix and mix and the 3-piece mixing bowl set, is priced at $70, and then they get 2 sets of 4. So it's an 8-piece set. It's an amazing value. 8 bowls for $70. Now I know we just had That's a Bowls a couple months ago, and you're thinking, well, everybody's got bowls, but they're different bowls. That's a Bowls are phenomenal for so many different things. I love the handle. They're great for mixing up uh, cookie dough, for example, or things that I'm doing by hand. But a That's a Bowl's not the best bowl to grab when you need an electric mixer. It's just not. The shape of it is not conducive for an electric mixer, and you end up with little pockets of dry. So the mixing bowls are specific design. They straight down, the flat bottom is perfect for your electric mixers when you're mixing up a cake, for example. So I love that. You'll notice that our mixing stores also got that same kind of shape, straight down sides, flat bottom. So that 3-piece mixing bowl is awesome. There's also great recipes that you can do. And I'm going to share this. I shared this at a couple of our rallies this past week, but this is one of my favorite recipes. And you can actually share this with the mixing bowl set. And it incorporates the large mixing bowl set. And what you do is you take a ready-made angel food cake. So you can just buy it at the grocery store. You can make your own in the stack cooker too. But if you're going to make an angel food cake in the stack cooker, this is really important. And I know this from experience. Mix up the angel food cake mix and only make half of it in your stack cooker, because that baby is going to puff up and you will have angel food cake mix all over your microwave if you use the entire mix. So half of the mix to make an angel food cake mix in your microwave. So now you take your cooked angel food cake and you're going to put it in that mixing bowl, and it's the largest of the 3-piece, and you're going to make up a large package of Jello, any flavor that you want. I like the strawberry banana the best. Mix that up with the hot water and stir it all up. And you're going to pour that all over the mixing bowl. Place the seal on it, and then make sure you puff the air out of it. We don't burp anymore because we're sophisticated. We whisper, we puff. Puff the air out of it, because when you puff the air out of a bowl that is round, you make it liquid tight. So it was airtight when you put the seal on, but it now becomes liquid tight. Only a round bowl is liquid tight. So you puff the air out of it, and then you're going to turn it upside down. So now all the Jello starts running back for it, and then flip it back up. So give it a couple of tosses and put it in the refrigerator, because what you want to have happen is you want that Jello to become Jello inside of that cake mix. So this is not a fast dessert. It's going to have to take long enough for it to become Jello. So it's about an 8-hour process. Then you're going to take it out. You can flip it out on the cake taker and then put some whipped cream on it. If you want to put Cool Whip, you can, but I don't like using prepared things like that. So I would rather take my Power Chef and put in some heavy whipping cream and about 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. If you want a little bit more sweetener, you can do that as well. 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and start whipping that. And then you put that homemade whipping cream on top. Oh my gosh, you guys, it is so delicious. If you want to slice some strawberries and put it on top of that, you've got a delicious, light, airy dessert. And it only works in that mixing bowl. No other bowl. At least that's my story. So it's delicious. And so share a recipe to go along with that. And of course, the Fix and Mix, it's a 26 cup bowl. It's such a great throwback because we don't sell it all the time. People are always, always asking for that. And when it first came out, people would say, they would see that That's a Bowl, and they would say, no, I want the Fix and Mix because it's bigger. And in reality, the That's a Bowl is bigger. they always think that the Fix-A-Mic is bigger because it has a larger seal, and it just looks bigger because it's short and squatty. So whatever they believe is fine, but people love that Fix-A-Mix bowl. So let's get some helpers. Back to those people that work someplace where there's lots of people, and you want to challenge them to sell 10 sets of the $70 bowls. 10 sets, that's $700 in sales. And when they sell 10 sets, they can have their set for free. So you're going to pay for that, but you're going to get your discount. And so that is how you can reward them. But I want you to think about something. What is your profit on a $700 order? And then how much is that $70 set of bowls going to cost you? So that's the way you can really generate that. You can't use host credit for it because you can't use host credit to redeem on anything that's in a monthly flyer. But you will have host credit coming to you, so that will help offset what you've been able to get from that $700 in sales. So how many people can you ask to sell 10 sets of the $70 bowl set this week? If you get 3 people selling 10 sets of $70 bowls, that's $2,100 in personal sales for you. So if you're working for anything, I mean, it's going to count towards your team sales, but if you're working toward the luggage or any other strong goal like that, that's going to make a big difference. Now, you have to sell 10 too. So put it in your schedule. How can you start marketing that? Do you have a VIP Facebook group? And what you can do with that is work to sell 10, and then everybody that sells 10 can go in a drawing for something. Maybe you're going to give away 1 set of those, or maybe you're going to give away host credit to them. So get creative to pull in those sales last minute. Now, another thing that you can do, because that's something that once you launch it, other people are doing, so it doesn't take all week to happen, right? The second thing is the survey parties. And I'm not going to go into the survey parties because we had some incredible training on that just a couple weeks ago. So I want you to, if you didn't see that training, I want you to go back into this particular group, and in the search column you can type in survey parties, and it will pull up for you the ideas and the tips on how to make that work. But survey parties are something that you could offer this week, and if you could pull in maybe 3 survey parties this week, that would be incredible. So that will help you with your personal sales. Now, let's think about those of you that say you want to step up, because several of you, as we went through, you're working to go into DIQ, or you're wanting to become a manager this month. So if that's your goal, you need 3 different things. Number 1, you need personal sales, which that's just 500. That's a piece of cake. Number 2, you need your personal team sales. So that is the sales of your 3 for manager, or your 6 for star, your 9 for executive. If you're going for DIQ, at least 6, the more the better. So you want to have that in place. And if you're a director and maybe you're working to qualify for your car this month and you're wanting to stretch to 12.5, then it's about team sales as well. So a couple things I'm just going to share with you, and I'm going to be gut honest with you. You can't live in the land of minimums and be a leader. So if you think you're going to do it with $500, you're just not going to do that on a regular, consistent basis. You've got to be leading by example. And you're also going to need to be a good chunk of the sales until you have a really, really, really large team. So you can't expect 6 people. Let's do the math. If your goal is to sell 7,500 to become a DIQ, you can't say, well, I'm going to do 500. And that leaves 7,000 for 6 people, because now you're asking 6 people to sell more than $1,000 each, and all you're selling is 500, but you're the one getting the promotion. Nah, doesn't work that way. You got to do the lion's share. So you got to go back to what I just said, building your personal sales, or you need a whole lot more people. So let's talk about what you can do with your team. I'm going to assume that you're going to do a chunk of the sales. You're willing to take the largest chunk, and now you've got to help the people that you have on your team to become active. So again, you got to teach them what to do. Show them what to do. So can you gather them together in the next, say, 24 hours and do a survey party with them and 5 of their friends, because then you're going to model that for them. And when you model that for them, guess what? They're going to have some sales, and then they can go out and do a couple more survey parties between now and Friday. Show them how to do it. Show them that it can be done within 24 hours. Because the survey party, that's the beauty of it. You don't need to date it into 3 weeks down the road or even next week. You can date a survey party within 24 hours because you're just asking them to take a survey. And it's a 30-minute event, so it's not a huge commitment of that customer's time. So can you do a survey party? Activation event. So if you've got a recruit that you're wanting to step up and you need one more recruit to become a manager. So I see Tiffany says she needs one more recruit to become active with her 250 and she can step up. And somebody else was working to become a DIQ. Heather's working to be a DIQ. So she probably needs maybe 6 active. Maybe she doesn't have that yet. Michelle, I'm a new consultant. I want to sign up a recruit and date another party. So this is the way to do that. So signing up your recruit, we're going to talk about that in a second, but dating another party, it could be this survey party. But if you've got to recruit, another way to help them is to do an activation event. So why not schedule a get together for them to get their account activated? So it doesn't have to be a survey party. It could be a regular cooking event. Ask them to gather a couple of friends together and you can show them how to make a cake in the microwave or make a meal in the stack cooker. So your stack cooker is such a strong tool. Now, the next thing that you're going to need in order to step up is you're going to need those recruits. So Michelle's looking for one more recruit. So here's what I would do today, not tomorrow, TNT, today, not tomorrow. I would go live with the Fusion Master because you've got to get somebody excited about getting that. Now, it's not enough to grate cheese because that may not move them. What I want you to do is get your Fusion Master out. And if you don't have a Fusion Master, see if you can connect with somebody on your team and borrow a Fusion Master to do this. Because you've got to show it in action because it is an amazing, amazing product. So let's get the Fusion Master out. And the first thing I would do is explain that the whole system, the base, and that you need one base and that it does everything for them. And then I love this story, and I shared this at our rallies this week. So put the snow cone piece in because it makes snow cones. Now I'm going to tell you a little story. A couple years ago, before Tupperware had the snow cone feature, I have 5 grandkids, and I bought the 3 youngest ones, I bought them a Mickey Mouse snow cone machine. And I can't remember exactly how much it was, but it was like $35, $40. Adorable. And you put ice in it and it makes the shaved up ice, and they had a great time with it. But you know what? I bet my daughter-in-law hated me for that thing because it's a big old clunky thing, and where the heck do you put an appliance? I mean, who needs another appliance in the kitchen that only does one thing? And see, that's the thing. It only does one thing. It makes shave ice. But let's go back to now our Fusion Master because it makes shave ice. But then you swap out the blade and voila, you can shred things. So put a zucchini in there and shred the zucchini and show them how you can shred that to put it in bread. Because we got to get vegetables in our kids, and some kids don't like zucchini, but if you shred it up and you put it in bread, they'll eat it, or shred it up and put it in chocolate cupcakes even. You can put zucchini in a chocolate cupcake. It tastes delicious, and the kids will never know it, and they'll eat it. So now you're getting vegetables. That's a great way to sneak that in. And then shred some potatoes. Use the larger one. Shred some potatoes. And then do a cost analysis because you can buy pre-shredded potatoes in the frozen food section. So show them how much it costs and then, go to the grocery store. You don't have to buy it. Go to the grocery store and take a picture of the price and then also take a picture of the ingredients in the shredded potatoes because, oh my God, it's got things you cannot pronounce and we don't need to eat that. Now shred some cheese and put that off to the side because you're going to use that for a recipe that you're going to make. So you have now shown them everything that Shred Master can do. Now it only comes with one blade, so now it's time to sell them on, let's make sure you come in and do $500. And they're going to think they can't do $500 by Friday, but they can because all they need to do is have their activation event. All they need to do is hold a survey party. All they need to do is find somebody that can sell 10 of something, or they can sell 10 of those big mixing bowl sets. So I have seen people come in and within 24 hours sell that $500. So don't get sucked into the thought that, oh, if I bring them in now, they can't sell 500 and get their activation event. They can do it. Some people are going to have 60 days and they won't do it. And some people will do it in 24 hours. They got to want it. That's the bottom line. So give them that desire. So now you're going to demonstrate the Fusion Master. That's the piece that they can use for grinding meats. So they can put chicken in that and make ground chicken or turkey. So you can make turkey burgers. That's a lot healthier. Or you can put some inexpensive beef and they can grind that to make their own ground beef, because we've all heard the stories about pink slime. So who wants that? So they can grind their own meat, and you can add the cheese that you just shredded to it, and so now you've got these yummy cheeseburgers. So here's another great recipe, and this is going to crack you up because I did this all last week at all of our fun nights. Blows people away. It's the black bean burger recipe. Now I'm going to come back and post that afterwards. I'm not going to give you the instruction or the total ingredients right now, but this is so impressive because what you do is you rinse and wash a can of black beans and you grind those, and then you add a couple of other ingredients plus the cheese that you just grated, and I'm telling you what, it's delicious. You can make it in the Micro Pro Grill, so that's another selling feature, and that's part of the host gift special right now. So if they sell 10 of the bowls, they're at $70. They're almost to the $1,000 to qualify for that. And of course, they need their 2 datings to qualify. But that's the way you can really get people excited about that whole ensemble. And then there's the Fridge Smart. So talk about the Fridge Smart and how much money it will save them, how they can go to Costco and buy the big package of the romaine lettuce, and it comes with 5 big old romaine stalks in it. And why buy that if you're going to throw half of it away? But if you put that in Fridge Smart, it's all going to be fresh. I'm a family of 2 now because we're empty nesters. We go to Costco and we buy the gigantic thing of spinach and we put it in our Fridge Smart, eat every single bit of it. We put it in our salads, we put it in our omelets, we put spinach in everything. It's so healthy. Guess what? You can actually grind it all up in your Fusion Master inside of your meats as well, and then you're getting some spinach in there with for your kids too. So when you're grinding with the Fusion Master, that's the cool thing, is you can add garlic and onions or spinach or zucchini or anything like that. You can grind it right up with it, and that way it all comes out together, and it's just absolutely perfect. So that's how you can get your recruits active. So now let's look at your team sales. So if you're committed to doing more than the minimum and you add up your consultant sales, go back now and take a look at who needs what to hit a target. So this week, of course, we've got that adorable water bottle for $500. So everybody's got to have that. That is a collectible. And you know what? I love that water bottle. I love the little squares and all the pictures of Brownie on that. So $500, what can you do to help move those consultants that are on your team already to doing 500 this week? Now let's look at those that maybe are not as motivated to do 500 for the week, but they will do 500 for the month. Now, why should they do 500 for the month? You know why? Because they need to show up in the consultant locator. If they are a consultant with $500 in sales and they have a paid website, they will show up in the consultant locator, and they're also going to get part of the internet pool, which is usually $7 to $8, $9. That's going to help cover the $9.95 for their website. So remind them of that. Tell them you're at $350. You're only $150 away. That's 2 of the $70 bowls plus a little extra. So give them some ideas, because here's what they're thinking. I don't have a party this week. That's not going to happen. I can't afford to buy $140. You know what? It's not about them buying it. Being part of Tupperware is not about you buying Tupperware to make the goals. Yep, a lot of us come in for the discount, but it's not about buying a bunch of Tupperware. It's about sharing it with other people. You're here to make money or here to get your Tupperware at a discount. You're not here to buy a ton of Tupperware. So almost everybody's on Facebook. And if they're not, then they probably have a lot of free time. So they need to go out and see the people. And they need to talk about the specials that we have. they need to get excited about something and focus on that one product, or they can do a couple of survey parties. But reach out and connect. For you to post on Facebook, going back to what I said at the very beginning, for you to just post it on Facebook and tell your team to do something, they might not check Facebook until Friday night. They might not check it until sometime next week. Again, it's like opening your door and shouting. One or two people might hear you, but you're not going to hit the whole neighborhood. You've got to connect with everybody on an individual basis. And whether that be with a personal phone call, or that be with a text message that they're responding to, or a Facebook message, that's the key. A personal, private Facebook message, not a group message. You've got to reach out and connect with those people. So those things can make a big difference. So those, I hope, will give you some ideas. So if you are following up on your leads to get your personal sales, everything you've already done all month, and you're pulling in what you still need through getting helpers and your own personal efforts if you feel like you're falling short. And if you need your consultants to be active, partnering with them to share these ideas with them to help them hit their 250 or their 500. And lastly, demonstrating the Say Yes gift and helping those people get active this week so that you can have that one more activated recruit that you get or that you need in order to step up. Hopefully that'll give you some ideas for the now. Whew. I'm exhausted just thinking about all this. But you know what? You got to want this. You can't just think, well, I kind of like to do it, but I don't know what's going to happen. I promise you, if you have that attitude, it is not going to happen. I have been in Tupperware for 3 years. I don't even want to say how long I've been in Tupperware now. I started when I was 3. I just want you to know. So no, seriously, I've been in Tupperware for 38 years. Nothing happens if you wait for it. Nothing. You have to make it happen. Doesn't mean you have to be pushy. I don't want you to be pushy. I want you to attract people to you. I want you to be full of excitement. I want you to be really sharing what Tupperware can do for people. So you're not doing something to them, you're doing something for them. If you get that fusion master in their kitchen, you're teaching them how to save money, eat healthier foods, no preservatives added. Again, like they're saving money and they're able to eat healthier because they're going to be able to incorporate some vegetables in some of the things that they're making by hiding it into those things. So Fridge Smart, a great money saver. Every family needs to have Fridge Smart in their kitchen. So those are my ideas for the now. All right, so let's talk about the later. You've got to have the plan for part 2, and that's June. And June is going to be amazing. And you know why? I know that because I've already seen it. So you got to trust me on this. It's going to be amazing. So you can't wait until Saturday morning to think about June. You got to have this balance of I'm working on now and I'm also working on the later. So a couple things I want to make sure that you do. When you're asking people about doing a survey party right now and they just can't do it because maybe they've got lots of things going on and they don't even have 30 extra minutes this week, I want you to make sure you have dates available in your first 2 weeks of June and offer to put them into that time slot. Now, by now you've seen the announcement of it's not really the extension, but it's a host bonus that we've had during the month of May. And it's going to be going into the first 2 weeks of June. The copay is a little bit higher. And the second thing is, and this is another reason why you have to close out your parties this week, you can't carry things over, is because that $1,000 and 2 host offer that we have for birthday month, that's not extending. So they're going to have this extra host credit, but they're going to be able to use it on free Tupperware or the 2 host gift specials that we have, the catalog and the brochure host gift special. So start putting those people that say they can't do it now into the first 2 weeks. You've also got datings that you should be getting from all of your May parties. And so go back and take a look at all of your May parties that you've already held. Where are the 2 datings? Did they go into the month of May? If so, great. But if they didn't go into the month of May, you cannot let May close without putting those datings into your first 2 weeks of June. Because the rule is that the host, in order to get credit for the dating, needs to have 2 parties within the next 21 days. And so if you had a party week 1, those 21 days are like here, now. So you got to get that in there. And if not, you got to go back to the hostess and say, Susie Q is not able to do her party. And so we need to find another person that can take that spot, because that is the future of your business. The reason Tupperware has those two parties in place is they're making such a huge investment in your business, a huge investment in your business by offering that host offer, because we don't pay for that. And if we don't get the datings to give us the future business, then we're not using that host offer the way Tupperware intended. And I don't want them to take that away. We have the best hostess program in the direct selling industry. Some companies don't even have a host program. It's just whatever the consultant makes up and pays for. We are so blessed to have such a rich host program, and our company pays for it. We can't abuse it. We've got to make it work so that the company sees the sales 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the road from what they invested in prior. We as consultants have a responsibility to keep that pure. So, where are the datings from your birthday month? Have you put them in your date book? If not, that's the first thing that I want you to do. Is I want you to follow up and lock those in, and go back and say to them, if they're dilly-dallying with you, just say, Susie, I need to make sure I get this in my date book, because I can't give Heather credit for it unless the party is in my date book. If you will always do that before you close out a party, you'll always have those datings. Don't just say, oh, okay, I've got 2 datings, I need to get those later. Because getting them in your date book has to happen before you close that party and order that hostess gift. Once she's got that hostess gift, it's more difficult for you to get those datings. So make sure you're doing that follow-up with that. Second thing that I want you to do is make sure you're putting them in the front. So I want you to get 2 parties in week 1 and 2 parties in week 2, because great things are coming and you want to make sure you have front loaded the month. If you are a leader, this is extremely important, because if you've got 4 parties in the first 2 weeks of the month, you should have at least $2,000 in sales in the first 2 weeks. That's $500 per party. Your party average actually should be higher than 500. So if you're looking at $1,000 parties, then you could have $4,000 in sales in your first 2 weeks. This is important, because if you will front load as a leader, you have the rest of the month to focus on activating your team members and your new consultants. Because that's part of our job. But if you're scrounging around trying to make your sales goal at the end of the month, you're not able to do that. So front loading is key if you're a leader. So 2 parties for week 1, 2 parties for week 2. Second thing that I want you to do is I want you to make sure you have a parties up challenge for your team. So making sure that every consultant on your team has maybe 1 party for week 1 and 1 party for week 2, and offers some kind of challenge. It doesn't have to be an expensive thing. You could do a drawing, or you could do a fun little gift, but show them the gift ahead of time and tell them that everybody that has 2 parties in their date book in the first 2 weeks is going to receive this. And that way you're going to start having your consultants front load. Make sure that they know that it has to be registered in My Sales for it to count. So that way it's really easy for you to see who has the party. Now, another fun thing to do with that is, and you can do this on a small level with a unit as a manager. It's much difficult once you become an organizational leader, or if you're a director that's got 80 to 100 people on your team or more, it's more difficult. So having this done on a manager level is much easier. So get a calendar. It can be any calendar. You can print one off if you don't have one, and ask them for the dates as well. So everybody puts it in the back office, because Tupperware needs that information, and you're going to see it, and then they can message you their date and keep track of that. So Mary's got a party on June the 5th, and Debbie has got a party on, say, June the 8th, and you're keeping track of that. So there's multiple things you can do with that information. So you could, if you wanted to, at the beginning of the month, just pick a number, for example, 1 through 10, which are the days of the month, and anybody that has a party on that day gets a gift, if you're not going to give them a gift for just simply dating. The other thing that you could do is have a kind of a chart that we need as a team X number of parties. So for example, if you're a director and you're shooting for 12,500 for your car, you need 25 parties. So make a chart that has 25 spots on it. And as they date a party, put their name, the hostess's name, and the date. First name of the hostess is all you need. So you've got Susie Smith and her hostess Debbie, and the party date is July the 5th. And now you're going to do that for everybody. And as soon as all 25 spots are taken, you do a drawing, you pick a number, and whoever was number 13 wins a gift. So there's so many ways that you can keep that alive, and you can repost that list on Facebook over and over. So that's kind of a fun thing to do as well. You got to get the team excited about how many parties that you have up. If you're wanting to have a $7,500 month, then it's 15 parties that you need. If you're wanting to move into star for the month of June, it's 5,000. So 5,000 is going to be 10 parties. And if you're wanting to be a manager, you need 2,500. But you know, sometimes they have a step up and a little bit more challenge where you need 3,000. So let's go for 3,000. And then you need 6 parties. So make a little chart for 6 parties, or you could make a wheel with 6 parties. So it all can be done graphically, and then post it in your Facebook group and keep it alive and have them registering their parties. Okay. So your party lineup, your team's party lineup, very, very important. Have a fun challenge to keep them excited and engaged in that. Next, I want you and your team to be working on a list of recruit potentials. A list of recruit potentials, because they saw a lot of people this month and maybe they didn't talk to everybody about our opportunity. So do some kind of challenge where everybody needs to turn in 2 recruit leads. Have them think about someone that was a lot of fun, somebody that loved Tupperware, somebody that had a lot of great ideas, somebody that indicated that they wanted everything in the book but they couldn't afford it. Sharing the business opportunity should always be the first thing we share, then the host opportunity, and then the customer opportunity. And a lot of people get that backwards, and they start by trying to get somebody to buy something and then try to get them to host a party and then try to get them to join their team. Start by offering the opportunity, because it's the best offer we have. If they don't want that, let them host a party and get some for free one time. If they don't want that, then let them be a customer and pay full price. You see how that works? So start at the top, work down. So you're going to have this list of people that they're going to want to offer the opportunity to. Second thing I want you to do is, in your first week of the month, the first week of June, I want you to carve out a time that you're going to have some kind of recruiting activity. So I'm going to give you an idea for 3 different kinds of activities. The first activity could be where you do some kind of recruiting event, which is live and in person. So if your team lives locally to you, you could do something at a Starbucks or your local type of coffee shop. Get everybody together, buy them a cup of coffee, and then do a quick 30-minute, 45-minute Tupperware opportunity. One of the things that I like to do to make it really move fast is take your kit shrink wrapped. So it's really easy to take that in and just set it on the table. Then you're going to want to take your Say Yes offer for June, which is the, I can't tell you, but you'll find out next week. But you'll want to take that with you so you can show them what the Say Yes offer is. And then the next thing that you're going to want to do is have some kind of paperwork that gives them 4 pieces of information. And so the 4 pieces of information that they need is: how much money can they make? How much time does it take? How much does it cost to get started? And what do they have to do to get started? Those are the 4 things that they need to know. So what is the flyer or the brochure that your particular company recommends? Get that information from your upline so that you have that. And then you'll have the printed information to give them. You don't need to take 25 different pieces of paper. One thing should do the trick. Or you could make a little packet up that has maybe a couple little things in it. The second thing that you want to do is take 10 tickets, maybe a few more if you're going to have a bigger group, 10 tickets, and some kind of gift that you're going to give away. It doesn't have to be a big gift. It could be a soup mug, anything that you have. It could be a breakfast maker, something that you have extra. And then after you've given the 4 things, thank them for coming, um, talk about the consultants that are there, brag on them, and how thankful that you are to have them a part of your team. Highlight somebody's achievements for the month of May. Tell them about the fact that they were invited to come because their Tupperware consultant thought a lot about them and would love to have them be a part of your team. And I want to just share with you the 4 main things that you need to know about Tupperware. Then say to them, now we're going to do a little game. And the name of this game is Everything You've Always Wanted to Know About My Job, but we're afraid to ask. I've got 10 tickets, and you can ask any question you want about my job, and I'm going to give you a ticket for any question that you ask. And then once the 10 tickets are done, we're going to do a drawing for this breakfast maker. So do that right there at Starbucks. You can do all of this in about 45 minutes. And then give them a little sheet to fill out. What were they the most excited about? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how are they rating their interest in Tupperware? 1 being I'm not interested at all, 10 being sign me up today, and they're not allowed to say 5. No sit on the fence. And what, if anything, would keep them from trying Tupperware for 13 weeks? Because that's the confidence start time. So that's why we want them to try it for 13 weeks. It's like a dress. Try it on, see if it fits. What have you got to lose? The worst thing that could happen is that you would get a whole bunch of Tupperware for $99. You'd make a little money. You'd win some free Tupperware. You'd buy what you wanted at a discount for the 3 months. And you'd still have 4 more months of shopping privileges if it wasn't your cup of tea. Can't beat that with a stick. Make it simple. Don't ask them to marry you. It's not a lifetime commitment. It could be 38 years. But don't make it a lifetime commitment at the very beginning. Make it very easy for them to join, and make them understand how this is not an inventory business. They're not buying $5,000 worth of Tupperware to join. If they don't like it, it's not the end of the world. They can go back and be a good customer or hostess. So a live event would be great. But in reality, some of you may not live close to everybody else that's on your team. So that might not work. So the next best thing would be for you to do some kind of Facebook event. So you could do exactly what I just said. Create a Facebook group or a Facebook event. I would prefer a group, but create one of those and let your consultants add their recruit leads to that, and set a specific time early in the week next week. Not the week that we're starting, but I'm talking about the first week of June because we're on the later now, right? Set a time, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, or even actually Saturday would be better. That's the beginning of the week, that you're going to do this live Facebook event. And you would do exactly what I just shared with you. You would post the 4 things. You would talk about the 4 things that they need to know. And you could do the exact same game. They could type in their questions. You could write their name on a slip of paper, and you could do a drawing for your breakfast maker. Make it something you could ship easy. So you may even want to do a gift card. Make up a gift card, and then they could redeem it. You could ship it that way. So those are a couple of things that you can do. Now, if you're not on Facebook Live, you're not seeing this. So if you're not on Facebook, you're not seeing this. So that's probably not an option. But maybe a lot of your team members are not on Facebook, and you're thinking, I just don't think that that's going to roll well with my team. So the next thing that you could do is something that I built my business on because Facebook didn't exist back then, and is what we call 3-way phone calls. And it's extremely effective. And it might actually be your preferred choice of doing this. So they're going to give you those names, and you're going to do a 3-way phone call with that recruit lead and the consultant on your team, doing exactly what we just did, asking for a few minutes of their time. You're going to give them the information. You're going to ask them, again, what are they most excited about on a scale of 1 to 10? What would keep them, how would they rate their interest? And then what would keep them for trying this from 13 weeks? Anybody that says nothing, you want to make sure that you give them a party planning packet. And if you're doing this on the phone, then you're going to have to get it to them, mail it right away. So you're going to have to give them a party planning packet and get them set up on an activation event immediately, because we want them to be getting started on their selling and hitting their 500 even before their kit arrives. They can do that because you can email them a monthly flyer that's got the specials on it, and they can do a lot with that. They don't need to have their kit to start selling Tupperware. They can get started right away. I mean, I say this all the time. We don't give a kit to our hostesses, and yet a lot of them get a couple $100 in outside orders before their party. So a new consultant doesn't need a kit to start selling Tupperware. She can start selling from the get-go, and then when her kit comes, she's ready to start doing her live events. So getting that set up will help you front load recruits, because just think about this. If you've got parties in your date book for the first 2 weeks to set your sights on the goal level that you need, and then you're adding a couple of recruits at the very beginning of the month, and they're adding parties, you see how your team's going to be able to grow? So that's the now and later. So I hope that these are ideas that you can embrace. I know it's a lot of information, and if you're on the call, you probably are going to have to go back and listen to this again, because I just probably ran you over like a Mack truck, right? All right, so there's one last thing I want to leave you with, and then I'm going to open this up for any questions that you might have. I'm looking to see if anybody has any questions, and I don't see any so far. But here's the thing that I want to share with you. The ideas that I've just shared with you are critical for your momentum for birthday month, now finishing May, and later getting a good start on your June. Critical. But here's a little secret. Do it every month. That's the secret to success. Every single month, you want to make sure you finish strong and you front load your month, and you have an activity event happening with your team, and you have a recruiting event happening with your team. If you will do that every single month, your team sales will grow month over month over month. That's it. It's not rocket science. It's just consistently having a plan of how you're going to make this business grow. And that is how you do it. 38 years. That's my secret. So before we wrap up, gosh, the sun came up. It's 6 o'clock here almost. Before we wrap up, let's see if anybody has any questions. If you have any questions, throw them down into the comments real quick. I might need to refresh to be able to see this. I don't know, because I'm not seeing any. Nope. I don't see any. I think that we don't have any questions. All right. I'll try to go back if I see any later. I'll try to go back to answer any of those. But again, I want to thank you for hopping up early this morning and getting on the call. And I hope that you are ready to rock the close of May and be ready to take June by storm, because it's going to be an amazing, amazing month. So goodbye, everybody. Have a great, great final week of birthday week or birthday month. Yay! Bye. See ya.